And we're back. Another episode of the Quick Chat Podcast. Sam and I here, your hosts. Back. We're still in Arizona. Still in the same spot you guys found us in last time. We're chilling. It's a nice sunny day out today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Have we done a podcast in the same spot twice?
I think we did at the very beginning in Glacier. I think we did 2 at the river.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
I
think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was back when we were obsessed with bears.
Mm-hmm. We've moved on.
Yeah. Honestly, thank goodness.
Yeah.
The bear talk was getting old.
The bear talk was getting old. Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a lot better at it, I think. Maybe not a lot, but
better.
We've
For
matured.
sure better.
We've matured.
Yeah. Matured. Definitely this experience has been fucking crazy.
Yeah, it has.
I feel like I'm a whole different person than I was when I first got out here.
Absolutely. It's just been, like, how do you even describe, I mean, coming into it, obviously, I knew that living outside for 3 months was going to be nuts. But,
Nuts, yeah.
like, it's kind of weird to have actually done that. Like, I kind of questioning my decision-making ability. I'm coming out here and being like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
What do you mean questioning your decision-making ability? Like, you don't, like, how did you think that this was going to be a good idea? Or
Yeah, just like it's so out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such an outrageous thing to do. You don't see many people doing that. Most people, they graduate, they go on a trip. They're like, yeah, we're going to go to Europe for a few weeks. We're just going to backpack around Europe. Like, yeah, that's a good trip. That sounds fun. And we were like, nah, I'm going to go sleep on the ground for 3 months. I think that's a more wholesome experience. And it worked out.
It did, but not in a way that we've anticipated.
Yeah.
Which we've talked at length about. But I mean, it pretty much occupies like half of my thoughts on a daily basis. Just like, or I shouldn't say that because that's not true. Not that I like just sit there and think, oh, this is crazy, like all day. But anytime that I think about what I'm thinking about, I'm always like, dog, I don't know. A few months ago, I would have never even had most of these thoughts. I thought about them from this perspective, just like very positive, very like constructive, as opposed to like feeling like I was just floating around, lost in the abyss.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway from that trip? Like, how have you changed the most?
My biggest takeaway from the trip is that I understand now that my life it's purely based on my ability to do things. Like beforehand, there was a lot more of like, oh, I'll get lucky. Like, what is like really the best way to say this? Or like, what's the biggest takeaway? I don't know.
You kind of design your life. Like,
yes.
It's all about your actions.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I feel like a lot of people know that, but as we've come to learn, there's a difference between knowing something and like understanding it or like really getting it. Like there's an experience that we've had somehow on this trip that has like just entrenched that belief in me, where it's like that's actually just how it is.
Yeah.
So
this trip has been a lot of us actually having to do shit.
Yeah.
Or else we were going to be cold, we were going to be hungry, we were going to be wet. Like,
right.
We saw that taking action has a direct benefit to making your life easier, or you get satisfaction from it.
Totally.
You feel a lot better about it. So
that's what I would say has been my main takeaway, just that I'm the designer, I'm the architect of my life, and that's true in every sense. And I now live by that rather than just hope it's true type of a thing. What would you say is your main takeaway so far?
My main takeaway, that's a tough one.
It could be the same thing or it could be totally different.
I would say it's kind of along the same vein, but that I'm more capable than I thought. I was sitting at Florida State kind of like had no idea what to do. I didn't know who I was or anything really. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I didn't really want to work. And I think that was mostly based in like laziness and not wanting to do anything hard. But coming out here, just even finding myself, that capability has been big. Just that I'm not like some floating fucking tumbleweed in the wind. It kind of like what I was saying on my walk today too, how you're not supposed to like really know your calling. Like a lot of people don't have that in them from when they were born. Like sure, some people want to be a doctor and like that passion carries them through all the way. And then they become a doctor, but being more comfortable in just like trying shit and not knowing, more comfortable with unknowns. Yeah, all those things. That's what I would say is I've gotten out of it.
That's a great takeaway from this experience. And I think like this experience grants you like a certain number of realizations or like whatever. So like you were saying, like it's kind of in the same vein. And I would definitely agree with you. Like I definitely feel like I'm much more capable than I thought I was previously. And that like what I mean, it's crazy. Like you would not think that camping for 3 months could bring about such a radical like change in perspective, but there's just something about like going outside your comfort zone for an extended period of time that just brings those things out of you.
Yeah, it's like you can almost think of it in more general terms of like we were both in a similar spot, having just gone through life with everything kind of laid out for us, life on the rails, like we've said. And then you have a massive experience where it's completely unique and something that we've basically came up with. Like no one told us to do this. Everybody pretty much told us not to do this. This is not something that everybody does. So going from that to this, that life experience and like that lifestyle change, kind of, there's only a certain number, like you get a certain thing from that. And like how you were saying that we both had something in the same vein, I think that's why, because it was the same change, like that change from life on the rails to living completely based off of our actions and our decisions and our wants and our desires and shit. That flip grants you the lessons of you're more capable than you thought. What was yours?
I'm the designer of my own life.
Yeah, exactly. So those are just things that those are basically changes that have occurred.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And another thing was really unique and I think ended up being beneficial to us on this trip is that on the trip, like despite all of the concepts surrounding just going on this trip in general, like it being something that most people don't do, like not getting settled in security-wise, with a job and with a consistent income, et cetera, like an extra layer on this trip is that we didn't really have a plan at all, like on the trip.
Yeah.
Like we left your house on the first day and we didn't know where we were going to be sleeping, and that's been like that's been consistent through the entire trip. Every single day when we wake up, we like don't really know what the day is gonna hold for us.
I think that might be my favorite part of the trip.
I totally agree.
Something that we've done really well with, and that has also shown me that you don't really need a plan, because when you have a plan,
that's when things go wrong.
And stuff changes. And if you have a plan, you're way more resistant to the change. And it's like you can't really say that you have the same wants and needs as the day before. Like, yeah, you kind of like hope that you do, but also every day is a different day. You basically go to sleep and wake up a new person.
Yeah.
So there's no need really to have a certain plan of like, okay, I got to be in Yellowstone on October 14th through the 22nd, and then I need to go here and here and here after that. It's like, why would you ever do that to yourself?
Yeah.
You're just boxing yourself in. You're setting restrictions on like the flow of life. You can't do that. It's not a possibility.
Yeah. Another thing I think that helped us out is since we didn't have a plan at all, it put us in a lot more situations where we had to essentially problem solve, and it was a light form of problem solving, because really it's like just how are you going to spend your day? Okay, we got to get gas in these situations. We got to find a place to sleep. We got to be there early enough. It's not like, okay, your multi-million-dollar business is collapsing. You've got to solve it like ASAP, but it's like every single day provides something new, and you have got the flexibility to be creative with your problem solving. Okay, like we were in Joshua Tree, and we were like, yo, it costs an arm and a leg to stay in California. So like, why don't we just shave a couple of days off of this and move it over to Arizona? And now we're here, and we're like, yo, we're looking at the Utah leg for the next step, and we're like, bro, it's gonna be like 20 to 30 degrees, like in Utah. Like that's bitter cold.
Yeah.
So we're adding a couple of extra days to this piece. That's part of the reason why we're getting 2 podcasts out of this location, is because the next spot is so fucking brutally cold. So it's just being fluid and flexible, and all of that lends itself well to working on your like problem solving skills. It seems.
Yeah,
like.
Totally. Yeah, you can't really restrict problem solving. That's another thing, like change problems, anything that comes up, you have to be able to adapt. And if you have a plan, you're already thinking of a way that your adapting needs to fit into. That's crap. You're not going to be able to creatively, truly problem solve if you're thinking like that. And it's kind of like a problem would come up regardless of what it was. Like I'm thinking of the glacier, like first spot basically that we were looking for. The GPS basically wouldn't let us find it.
Right.
And then our ability to just be like, okay, that's cool, we can fix this. Like there was no pressure or time constraint on finding a problem. It was just like, all right, there is a problem. We can just sit here and figure it out. Like there has to be a solution, and then we have come up with a solution every time.
Every time. And that, like, one belief that I've kind of had throughout my life that has only been further supported on this trip is that there's always a solution. Like there is always a way. And it might mean that I've got to be uncomfortable for a little bit longer, or I've got to be, maybe I have to sacrifice something here and there, but there's always a way to rearrange the pieces to where you get your desired outcome. Pretty much always. And if you aren't, if that's not an actual possibility, then that's one of those rare circumstances, and that's tough. But I think a lot of people think that the majority of problems are that scenario versus like just you have to, if you maintain flexibility and lower your commitment or responsibility to your environment and etc., then you'll be surprised how easy it is to actually just maneuver problems and find solutions.
Had to change the batteries real quick.
Quick bat change.
All set now,
bat
full
swap.
battery. Easy money.
Yeah. Speaking of bat swap, you saw that the guy that voices Batman, that has voiced Batman, Kevin Conroy, I guess he passed away.
I don't have no idea who that is.
He's I don't know, some maybe he's like an actual actor and shit, but I guess he's voiced Batman in like all of the stuff for like the last 40 years.
Oh, that wasn't the actors doing it?
Say that again?
I thought the actors just had that voice. Like they were like playing that.
Oh no, it's like one guy.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's been the same guy through like all the video games, all the animated shows.
Oh.
And then there's like,
I'm thinking of the real like Dark Knight trilogy. Those are the only Batman things that I've seen.
Oh,
like
okay.
Starting from then until basically, I mean, I saw the new one, that was awesome. But I haven't really watched the animated stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, got you. I mean, I'm not like super obsessed, but I've definitely seen some of the stuff, and I used to play the Batman video games when I was a kid, but I was like, damn, this guy's been doing it. Like, he's been doing one gig consistently. Like every single year, I'm sure one of these Batman things came out.
Yeah.
So like every single year, he was like he was the voice of Batman, like a consistent gig for like 40 years.
It's a pretty good gig. It's like there's the guy that does the EA Sports sound.
Yeah.
Does
EA Sports.
Exactly.
It's in the game.
Yeah, that guy's a beast. Like what a way to make $1 million. Like that guy definitely got a bag.
Yeah. Another top gig is the guy that does Red Zone.
Scott Hansen, yeah, he's a total G.
He's a savage. I love him.
He's good at it.
Love him. Yeah.
The one thing I have noticed I have a couple bones to pick about Red Zone. I think they stay on the game for too long sometimes, and they don't go to the games that are more important. Like I really do not give about two crap teams that are like going into halftime. Like I don't care.
Sure.
A big play happened on the Eagles. That's what everybody wants to see. No one cares about the Browns and the Panthers. No one's watching that.
I mean, that's facts. I mean, there are definitely Browns and Panthers fans that subscribe to Red Zone.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to watch the game, guess what? It's on TV. Just go grab it.
I'm not gonna argue with you there. But
there's been a couple
Spider
of things
Jack.
I've noticed.
You see that boy?
Oh yeah, I don't have my contacts in. He could have just snuck right up my leg.
Wow, that would not have been fun.
No.
There's a crazy amount of spiders here, like large spiders.
The desert is definitely eyes down. You gotta keep looking at the ground.
Eyes down, yeah, for sure.
Spider, like we've seen massive spiders. This one right here,
That's
it's probably the size of like a quarter,
yeah.
and it's like one of the smaller spiders we've seen.
Yeah, we saw a really. I just got shivers thinking about it. We saw a huge spider when we were in Joshua Tree.
Yeah, that was
God
nuts.
damn, that shit was fucking crazy.
Full blown tarantula. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was really big. It's like one of those like. I mean, you could walk that thing on a leash.
Yes, it would fit in my hand. Like it's probably that big.
Oh God, I hate spiders.
Yeah, not okay.
Yeah.
But kind of cool though. Like how many people have seen a tarantula? Like actually in the wild.
Yeah, I mean in the wild, definitely, probably not very many people.
It's pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
I'm glad we haven't seen any snakes though. I keep like when I go on my walk down this road here, I 100% expect to see one every time. Anytime I go near a bush, I'm like, I'm gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
Have not even seen one.
Yeah. No, they're kind of, especially like rattlesnakes. They're kind of like the bear phenomenon too. It's like you think they're gonna be around every corner, and they're just not.
Yeah.
They're just not.
People play it up, but I guess like it happens to one person, it's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
They have to go to the hospital and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
they don't really have like rattlesnake spray.
no.
I guess you could probably, in theory, use bear spray. But
Yeah.
like,
I don't know if it even works. Snakes are kind of just like tanks. Like I don't know if they're like
they're literally armored.
alive like that. Yeah.
You don't know if they're alive like that.
They're not a mammal, and they're all like scaly and shit. Like their eyes might just be like fucking plates. Like, you have no idea.
True. Our reptilian overlords are they're automated.
Wow.
There's some dude, you guys can probably hear it on the mic, but there's some dude absolutely blicking off, shooting a whole bunch of guns, blowing shit up on the mountain behind us.
Absolutely nuts.
Sounds pretty cool. I honestly wish he would have given us an invite, but we're not like that.
Yeah, I want to definitely have a bunch of armory stuff
Yeah.
and just go crazy when
Oh.
I'm over there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to have like John Wick's like armory. Like I want to walk in, I want to like pull a book on a bookshelf and then have it like open, kind of like Equalizer
Yeah.
style. And then there's maybe there's a remote, like a button on the side that I press, and it flips the secret wall in the secret room. And there's just like a wall full of guns.
Double secret walls.
Double secret. Yeah.
Wow. Better not need it quick. That's all
No.
I'm saying.
No. Well, and I'll have, maybe I keep something like strapped under the bed or something for emergencies. But
Yeah.
I'm going to war, bruh. I'm gonna need all that shit.
It's fair. So I guess kind of on that same vibe, let's talk about what we're doing next.
Okay.
What's the future look like?
So the future, you're talking about on this trip or after the trip?
On the trip, after the trip, your life in general,
So,
your outlook on life.
well, a quick wrap up for the end of the trip. We've got a few weeks left on this trip, going up into Utah, and then we're gonna spend a handful of days in Denver as kind of like our last hurrah in this chapter of our lives. And then I think we will both be happy to put a pin in this one and move on to the next chapter.
Yeah.
But the next chapter is about making money. Next chapter is about getting breaded because the world's going to shit, and you need to have money. Like every time I look at the news, or which I never do, but occasionally I'll see like a clip or something on social media, whatever. Or I've got a couple of people in mind that are like, your classic fear monger types.
It's crazy.
Look at this. But it's really like, if you don't get a bunch of money and like a bunch of assets and shit, like the world's going to be a really weird place to live in like 10, 15 years.
It's a weird vibe. I can't really even believe how out of touch everybody is. It's insane to me. The things that people worry about, the things that people claim are important now. It's just like, what are we doing as a society where we have been basically flip-flopping? Like, we elect a Democrat president and then elect a Republican Congress, and it's like nothing gets better every time.
Yeah.
I like that video you sent me. We've basically been doing that for, I mean, I'm not a history guy, but we've been doing it for a while and still nothing's changed and people still buy into it. They're still like, oh yeah, like it'll get better if we just do this. It's like, no, you idiot. When are you going to wake up and look at it and realize that all this crap is bullshit?
Yeah.
It's complete bullshit.
One thing that I saw Owen Benjamin post about was he said the two-party system perpetuates this, or how did he phrase it? He said the two-party system allows for the continual voting for the lesser evil, which then perpetuates constant evil. It's like, okay, if it's lesser evil over 50 years, guess what? It's still all evil.
Yeah, you're still like building up evil, even though it's like this and not like that. Yeah. But you do this for a long enough time, and you're gonna, obviously, as we've seen now, we're fucked. Like, there's a lot of evil.
Like, America is so fucked.
It's so crazy. Fucked. It's crazy. They're literally, one, trying to take out anyone who's an independent thinker. Two, clearly trying to get rid of any form of masculinity. If you're a man, they're taking you out. They're pushing all this feminism and like canceling people. It's like canceling in and of itself is an offensive act to everybody else, because you're basically saying that other people don't have the ability to make up their own mind.
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
But
who says that you have the ability to make up your mind in that case?
Everybody is so far gone, though, that they hear of a cancellation and they're like, oh, wow. Like, good that they're keeping that away from me. Like, I don't know how I'd handle coming into contact with that. Like, these people don't even have control over their own fucking brains.
The basic function of being able to form your own opinion is gone. How, like, that, you need to be able to do that. You have to be able to go through life and just, like, you interact with somebody, they tell you something. Like, oh, hey, like, I think that shirt you're wearing is dumb. What, are you just going to throw away that shirt? What if it's your favorite shirt before that? All of a sudden you hate that shirt. Yeah. It's the same idea. If you're really like fucking with somebody's message and then they get canceled, are you going to say that they were right and that you shouldn't be listening to them anymore? Yeah. Like, no. Yeah. You use your critical thinking to come up with your own idea about it. Great. Awesome. You can have your idea about it. You don't have to like them. I like them. Great. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
It's super fucking simple.
And the cancel stuff is so ridiculously one-sided, too, like, in terms of the message that they portray. Like,
yeah.
You've got all of these people out here that say a whole bunch of shit about, oh, like, kill all men are trash, toxic masculinity this, sports are bad, working out is bad, like, all this stuff. It's like, you're going to sit here and you're going to allow the person that's on social media saying all men are trash to have a platform and do all this, and then you're going to ban some of these people like Tate or whoever, like even people that are less radical than Tate, right? And, I
think Tate's a good example. Obviously, he came at it from the perspective of I'm trying to get attention, so he was saying stuff without giving a lot of understanding and background and context for what he was saying. And it got people riled up and it got them attention. But still, like, someone saying that women are, like, not made for the same roles as men, which is just objectively, biologically true.
It's just common knowledge.
Yeah. You can say, if you say that, you get canceled. If you say all men are assholes and you need to kill all men and have absolutely no reasoning for it, someone comes up to you. Yeah, and they're like, oh, why do you think that? And then you just say, oh, well, I think men are bad. And that's your reasoning? Bang, you're a fucking famous millionaire now.
Right.
Versus getting canceled for saying something that's true. So, like you're saying, it's all along the same lines. It's following the same message throughout the canceling thing. So you can't, anyone who sits here and says that the mainstream media or just in general, they have a message, and you are trying. So if I say they have a message, and then all these normies are like, no, they don't. What are you talking about? They're canceling all the same people to prove a point. Like, they clearly have a message. They're clearly organized against a certain ideal.
Yeah.
And that ideal is independent thinking and men.
Yeah. And if you understand one thing about people in power, their main directive is to maintain and strengthen that power and control. It's a natural human behavior. So if you take the message that they're giving you, you should from that be able to infer that the message they're providing you is one that will increase their power and their control, just based on if you understand how humans work.
Exactly.
Okay, if this guy is in power and he's pushing out this message is not going to be one that limits or shrinks his power or
he's not going to give you a message that's like, oh yeah, you're great, I'm actually fucking up here.
Right, exactly. So that's a big like matrix breaker idea. If you look at what the message is, basically take the opposite of that if you want to free yourself. Like, oh, men and women are absolutely equal and we should all have the same role and same like ability in society, or ability not necessarily, but all have the same role in society. You should take that and basically think of the exact opposite of that, and that's the way to find true strength and true prosperity.
Another common way of denying all this is saying that how could they be capable of this? Like, you're calling people like us like conspiracy theorists, like that's crazy. You could never, like, no one would ever do that. Have you guys ever read a history book? People have been like the Rwanda. If you go down to Africa, there's people killing like millions of other people just because they're like, I don't even know what the difference is between, I don't know, the Sunnis and the Shiites. I don't think anyone has an idea. They're just fucking slightly different religions, and they're just like, yeah, kill them all.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, people are fucked up when they think that they have an idea, or they think that they are better than you, or they are in a position of power and they're like purely benefiting off of you. They want to keep that.
Yeah.
It's not some crazy conspiracy. It's blatantly obvious if you pay attention. Yeah.
The people in power want to propagate their control.
It's facts.
So, I don't know. And just to go along with what you're saying here, like, oh god, flies all over the place. How could somebody pull this off? You know, well, somebody would have to be lying. It's like, when's the last time you fact checked someone?
Yeah.
When's the last time you double checked? You know, like, I've fact checked people and I've said things that I didn't fact check and I ended up being wrong about. Like, I've done the whole spectrum of things. You got to understand that, like, people out there just say things and nobody fact checks them.
You can't go and fact check it on Google too. Like, if you are trying to fact check a claim and you Google it and then you click a CNN article and show me that doesn't count. All the media is owned by like 7 people or something like that.
Yeah.
That accounts for like Disney, which owns ESPN, which owns ABC, and then you have Time Warner Cable, which owns like fucking Fox News. I don't know all of them.
Yeah.
But
the same people that own Fox own CNN.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's all you need to know right there. Bang. Case closed.
There's like a couple of like companies above them that are separate, and then at the very top, like there's like 3 companies.
It's a reality show.
Yeah, it literally is. And if you think like, oh well, on Fox, like, you've got to understand, right? So like there's a company at the top whose main purpose is to get rich, right?
Absolutely.
Main purpose, as the purpose of a business, is to get the people that run it rich.
Money in.
Money in.
That's the only thing a business is.
Right. So at the very top, this company owns Fox and CNN, right? So there's got to be a value there. So there's got to be something about owning both of those companies that gets them rich.
And then they decided we're going to run news 24/7, and then they needed money in. They're like, how are we going to get people to watch news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? How are we going to get viewers that consistently? You make it fucking polarizing. You make it the opposite. You make it fearful. People love that. That's why the Kardashians are so successful. People love drama. They love to feel like something's going wrong.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, how are they going to fix this? And then guess what? No one ever fixes it.
Yeah.
When's the last time a president or a politician in general actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
I literally, I don't think it's ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
Obama killed bin Laden. Like, that was a problem solved to a degree.
And
but
honestly, they dumped his body in the ocean because they didn't want to disgrace.
Well,
they didn't want to. Like,
we all know
bullshit,
the truth,
bro.
We all
like,
know the
bullshit.
truth about bin Laden, though. Is the bigger point here.
Yeah.
He didn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
And then you go to war in the Middle East and like really don't win that one. You go to war in Vietnam, you really don't win that one either. It's like it's been since World War II where anybody had a decisive victory in anything.
Yeah.
And it's just bullshit. Like, nothing ever happens. It's the constant stream of the same shit forever.
Yeah. And people like consuming this shit of it being like, oh, there's a problem out here, and like just nobody can seem to solve it or whatever, because that makes them feel better about them having problems in their life that they never fucking solve. Like,
fact.
Oh, we're all like in this together. It's like, oh, like everybody around you is getting D's on their tests. Okay, well there's nothing wrong with getting a D on your test because that's what everybody does. It's like, bro, you're just stupid.
Yeah.
Like the natural state of your life is one without constant anxiety from problems and whatever.
Exactly. What you were just saying made me think of like race problems in general. There's basically like a race war that we have going on.
Right.
Not really anymore. I mean, I don't know. I personally do not, but
I think we just don't devote attention to it, so it just has like faded for us, but I think it's still out there.
Okay, so going back to the Fox and CNN owned by the same people point too, is like CNN was out here saying that basically all whites needed to be castrated, and then Fox was out here saying that black people were running around and burning shit and being absolute hoodlums. So you have the Fox people telling one side of the story, and you have CNN saying the other side of the story. And at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. Like, Black Lives Matter. They just don't want to be killed by cops. And then the white people are saying, oh, all lives matter. That means the same fucking thing. You're saying the same point. It's just someone is way too agitated about it over here. Somebody's way too agitated about it over here. And the news stations cover that, and they cover that. All this shit in the middle gets thrown out. And if you actually had a conversation with somebody, you'd realize that it's actually there in the middle. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But no one has
fucked over.
No one has conversations. Everybody turns to social media, they turn to the news. That's how they consume and get information about everybody else. That's complete shit. It's all fed to you. It's all fucking curated for your little belief that like maybe that they're doing something wrong and that you want to be right and that they're wrong. It's baloney. It's baloney. There's so much gray in between. And people are reasonable. Human beings are reasonable.
Yeah, it's pure ego fuel. It's
absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
I'm better than I'm holier than thou. That's exactly what all this shit is. Everybody that's like, oh, this, like, just to use the race war example. Oh, well, this race it has this problem, and my race actually is the enlightened race. And you can just fill in whichever color you want there, white, black, yellow. I don't know if we're still allowed to say that one.
But red's off the table, so I think yellow's probably off the table.
but fill in whatever color you want. That's basically a race war. Like that's basically all it is.
It's exactly what it is.
Thinking your race is worse than mine, and that all comes from a place of thinking that you are the special child. Guess what, bro? You're not fucking special.
No,
you're not special. You're just as covered in shit as the rest of us.
We're actually all getting shit thrown at us from the top, from that building up there. They're all just throwing shit at us, and then they're like, guys, you have different colored shit on you. But really, it's like, why is there someone throwing shit on us?
Yeah.
That's the main problem. We're all getting shit on.
Yeah.
It's like, really, we need to unite and be like, wait, we don't really have problems that we don't, like, we're not creating any of these problems. They are. Yeah. The fucking idiots at the top of the tower throwing shit down on us, that's the problem here.
Yeah.
Not the fact that I'm black and you're white. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing.
And you nailed it with that ego point. It really is just all feeding your ego, which is like fear, anxiety, all that stuff where like it just like trips you up basically. It clouds your judgment. And if we all just realize that we're also not an ego-driven vessel here, that's just one part of it, and that the other part of it is the same for everybody, including that plant right there. And it's like, how could you really be upset with somebody if they're like you need
they're
to be,
you.
You see through to the fact that they are you. You are the same thing. They're projecting their conditioning, basically, which came from the bad people, came from CNN, and your conditioning came from Fox News, and that's your problem.
Yeah.
The problem is the conditioning that came from two separate things. That the two things that are conditioning you are against each other, not you.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. That's basically the biggest key out there. It's like major key. DJ Khaled quote right there. But I mean, that's it. If you go deep enough inside yourself, you'll find that you're no different from anything else. And at that point, how can you really look at someone else and say, you're not worth shit or you're worth less? Because it's like somehow in like the divine timetable of the world, like at some point you're that person too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're even the dudes that are on CNN and Fox that are like reading these teleprompter things, like these empty fucking vessels that they are. They're like, yes, Black Lives Matter. And then you have the other side, and they're like, actually, Black Lives Matter is a scam. And it's like these people are just like empty human beings.
Completely empty. You're reciting lines, like you're saying.
And at the same time, you are them too. Like you got to understand that exists within you also. So I don't know. It's tricky. It's really difficult to be compassionate to everyone, but it's something that is so important.
It is. It's really hard to be compassionate to other people, especially when they're being assholes to you.
Yes.
And being able to see through the fact that they're not actually upset with you, kind of. Like that they're just projecting what they've been told. It's a whole nother level of enlightenment, but
yeah, and
it's a fucking wild one.
Yeah. You find like in a bunch of the religious texts, I'm sure it's in a bunch of them, but I'm only very familiar with the Bible because I was raised Catholic. Mm-hmm. But you've got Jesus who is literally getting crucified. He's getting stakes like pushed, like pummeled through his hands, and he's hanging, and they're poking him with spears and whipping him and all this shit, and he still loves all the people there. Like that is such a powerful symbol.
It is. And
those like symbologies that are in those texts are what religions used to be about. It used to be like, yo, if Jesus, like look at Jesus. Jesus is literally getting the short end of every stick here, and he's doing it to show us that you're capable of loving your neighbor even when they're shitting down your throat.
Yeah. And that's literally the lesson.
Yeah. And now everybody is like, well, I think Jesus is black or white or
Jesus was actually probably a woman. And it's like, what are you talking about? That's not the point.
You're missing the point so hard.
Like ridiculously hard. That's just a classic human example of like overanalyzing though. All we do is overanalyze.
Yeah.
That's basically pretty much the reason for all the problems is that we've overanalyzed simple, basic things in life. Like that saying is the simplest explanation is usually the right one or something like that. Occam's razor. But it's facts. Like if you're looking at, I don't know. I lost it. Whatever. The simplest explanation is the right one. Yeah, exactly.
Think less. You're just a monkey that thinks too hard.
When you think too much, you confuse yourself, and then things seem more confusing and more challenging and seems more desperate. It's just not the way to be. Think less, observe more, feel more. Do less of that high energy, or not high energy, like just high frequency fucking thinking.
Yeah.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. Exactly. Think less, be more.
Exactly.
Just be.
Exactly.
Just like one thing in the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, which is just a book that we both love so much, is Yogi Raman tells him that he spends one day a week in silence, basically, unless he only responds to direct questions on that day. And I think that everybody on this earth could benefit greatly from spending one day just shutting the fuck up?
Oh, dude, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Silence does worlds of good for people.
Yeah.
It's insane how much just being quiet, and being quiet also means not taking in, like, dude, my brain's not working today. I keep thinking of an idea, and then I get halfway down and it's like, oh, look at that, it's gone. But not digesting things and not getting stimuli is also huge. Just letting your brain kind of be, and just don't put anything into it. Don't take anything out of it. Just let it run. Let it kind of like run itself out almost. And then, I don't know, you're left with peace and calm and relaxation, and you end up feeling way better, like lighter.
Yeah.
That's been a big thing that we've been able to do on the trip too.
Definitely. And just one more thing before we wrap this up. One thing that I've read in The Power of Now, which I really liked and found very insightful, is that a lot of people think that the point of life is happiness. It's happiness. But what the author of that book describes is that there's ego, there's feelings that the ego basically experiences, and that's where every feeling you has an opposite force, right? So if you're happy, you must be sad at times, right? And that's purely ego. But beyond happy and sad, and beyond positive and negative, is just peace, and that is truly what you can achieve through shutting the fuck up and not necessarily absorbing all this stuff, because you can go and you can be happy. Like, of course, I'm not saying being happy is bad, but you got to understand part of being happy is a knowledge and an experience of sad, and that goes like this. But if you truly want to have a relaxed, fulfilled life, it seems, and I'm still working on this, obviously, but you really just want to be at peace. You want to have the flat line. So, and then from a place of inner peace, you can experience these things and not be too attached to them, not identify with them. Oh, I'm happy. Like, that's how you think you are. And then it's fleeting, of course, as everything is. You're like, oh, I'm sad. I'm depressed. And now you like identify with being sad and depressed. Like, bro, just shut the fuck up. Find your inner peace behind all of the emotions and everything.
I think a good way to do that is just acceptance too. Like, it's along the same lines as what the Stoics talk about as well, where something happens to you and you just accept it. There's nothing that you can really do to change the outcome. Like, you get a flat tire, great.
You cannot change the fact that your tire is flat right now.
The tire is flat. No matter how mad you get, the tire's still going to be flat. If you win the lottery and you're on this absolute tidal wave, you won the lottery. Great. You could lose it all the next day. You could get hit by a car. Guess what? That money's not going to save you. It's just like, you got to take something and then just like kind of move on from it. Just be like, yeah, that's just a part of this life now. All your circumstances are just making you feel certain ways about certain things, but it shouldn't change you. Shouldn't change who you are.
Yeah. Accept what is and let the past die and don't live in the future.
Yeah. The only thing you got is right now.
That's right.
Yeah. What was that saying?
The present is a gift.
Well, yeah. That's where it goes, but something about like the past, I don't know. I don't know the whole thing, but yeah, that's why it's called the present.
Yeah.
It's a present.
Oh, there's something there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Master Oogway.
No, it's in
The Power of Now.
Yeah, it's in The Power of Now.
I think I remember reading that, but I can't remember either.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think this has been a good one. We don't want it to go on for too long.
Yeah.
But
it'll be good.
Yeah, that was a fire chat. Good shit. Nux. Thanks for listening, y'all.
See you guys.
Be easy.